This gathering represents a major milestone in the life of an organization with a long history in this community, a history that goes back to the late 1950s. This gathering also represents something incredibly important. It represents our collective understanding of the need for high-quality targeted treatment for our veterans, as well as the breadth of support necessary for an organization with a mission to serve those that struggle with substance use disorders to grow and thrive. It is my view that this gathering reflects the health of our community, of Salt Lake City, Salt Lake County, and our collective commitment to help build lives of meaning, purpose, and recovery for veterans and all those in our community who struggle. Thank you for coming to celebrate with us the groundbreaking for your First Step House Veterans Services facility. While doing research for my talk today, I came across some old documents, and if you'll indulge me for a few minutes, I'd like to share with you a couple of passages. I think these passages reflect in a very concise way the character and commitment of First Step House and our community to this cause. This first passage is from 1958, 16 months after we opened our doors. The author is unknown. During December 1957, two men alcoholics, both affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous, made arrangements with the owner of a 12-room vacant house for it to be used as a rehabilitation center for male alcoholics. The owner agreed to rent this house being used for this purpose for a period of 6 months rent-free, if those living in it would remodel and rehabilitate it to the extent that it could pass inspection by the City Board of Health. This house had once been in a residential part of Salt Lake City and was originally owned by a leader of the Mormon Church. As time passed, it brought changes, and this house was now in the so-called Skid Row section and ideally located to contact those who needed this help. About December 20th, 1957, these men, accompanied by 4 newly found alcoholics, went to work on the monumental job of making the house fit to walk in. The house had been used for a warehouse and was full to brimming with all sorts of building materials, junk, and rubbish. There was no water, lights, heat, or toilet facilities, and the house had been condemned by the City Board of Health for 3 years. By Christmas Day, they had the building clean enough to move in. Butch was the first manager of First Step House and should be credited with establishing the principles which are the foundation of rehabilitation for the house and the men. He was one of the first men to come to the house and now has 16 months of sobriety and is a self-supporting citizen responsible for himself and family. George was the second manager who disqualified himself after he took over managership and was replaced by another resident, Jack, who now has 6 months plus sobriety. He was succeeded by Benny, who is now serving with 30 days sobriety and is a busy man rehabilitating himself at the same time as the rehabilitation of the house continues. Scarcely a day passes that some member of the board or an interested AA member does not visit the house to give Benny and the men moral support. An executive committee of 3 members of the board of directors are on call to Benny at all times. We cannot report perfection regarding this project, but we can tell you that steady progress in the direction of rehabilitation of the homeless alcoholic is being made, and is the consensus of opinion that the plan of labor exchange coupled with the laborious job of remodeling the old house is the secret. We have no doubt left much unsaid. If you have questions, please let us know if we can serve you. This next passage is from 1976. It was crafted by June Black, who was the First Step House board chair at the time. This excerpt is from our first application for licensure as a substance abuse treatment center. The First Step House serves a population of alcoholics who have generally not responded to previous attempts at treatment, or at least have not maintained sobriety for any significant duration. The residents at First Step House are generally less stable and less socially and economically intact than our clients and residents at other residential facilities in the county. First Step House provides a supportive, non-threatening environment. A range of services is available. The alcoholic is supported in efforts to maintain sobriety, and success is measured in the length of non-drinking episodes. After an individual has left First Step House, he may relapse. That does not serve as a single failure on the part of the program necessarily. The individual, after a time of sobriety at First Step House and subsequent drinking experience, may then again enter treatment, and he may maintain sobriety for an even greater length of time, progressing towards eventual rehabilitation. I had to read those words. That's moving stuff to me. It's moving because it reflects the profound level of commitment of this organization, this city, this county, to a segment of our community that struggles mightily. It connects me, it connects all of us to core values, the founding ideals of First Step House. At the same time, it reflects that this city, Salt Lake City, has shared and supported those values for a long time. Much has changed in our delivery of services since 1958 and 1976. Today, we administer a broad set of evidence-based interventions that are proven effective in managing chronic conditions, in reducing PTSD symptoms among veterans, in eliminating criminogenic factors in individuals involved with the criminal justice system. The interventions we employ are known to be effective in reducing homelessness, improving employment, and reducing the debilitating effects of substance use disorder and co-occurring mental health conditions. But who we serve and why is still there. It's baked into our DNA. I am so moved by that fact. In closing, as I was reading the old documents, I knew that I wanted to honor those that founded First Step House. I knew that I wanted to speak the names of those involved in the founding of First Step House out loud. Names that have most likely not been spoken for decades. Butch, George, Jake, Benny, A.B. Talliard, Irving R. Hamilton, Lauren Lewis, Beulah Long, R.E. Connor, Leo L. Cronenberg, Peter B. Dean, Earl B. Knight, Dave Aist, June Black. I wanted to say their names because, like so many in this field, both today as in those early days, did important work. Did work that was important and done by people who served in relative obscurity. Important work by people who had often struggled mightily themselves. People who have become self-supporting citizens, responsible for for themselves and their family. Mayor Becker, Councilmember Garrett, Councilmember Mendenhall, we are so grateful that that our city understands the role of this organization in Salt Lake City. Your support for this project is a powerful demonstration of your commitment to addressing the issues of veterans as they struggle to return home. Dr. Hill and the George E. Wallen Department of Veterans Affairs Medical Center, on behalf of the First Step House Board of Directors and its employees, we thank you for partnering with us and for the privilege of serving veterans. Olene Walker Housing Loan Fund and Salt Lake City Housing Trust Fund Board, our lead supporters. Your support enabled us to leverage the additional funds necessary for this project. Thank you. Zions Bank, thank you for believing in us and our project. You really are our community banker. Harold Woodruff Architects, thank you for your hard work, your patience, and your kindness. Kier Construction, we are so impressed by your professionalism. We have the greatest confidence in your ability to bring this project to fruition. And Pathway Associates, thank you for your expertise and your invaluable counsel. And Dorothy Plesh, your legal counsel, your competence, your understanding of the work that we do. I don't know what to say, but that you're an angel. And also our supporters, our generous supporters, Salt Lake City Corporation, Olene Walker Housing Loan Fund, American Express, George S. and Dolores Dora Eccles Foundation, Sorensen Legacy Foundation, CIT Bank, Love Utah, Give Utah donors, Mike Guevara and Pharma, and of course the First Step House Board of Directors. Thank you for believing in us, our mission, and the people we serve. With that, I would like to invite Mayor Becker to come up and say a few words.
Sean, thank you, and Dr. Hill, thank you for your work. On behalf of Salt Lake City, let me also express on this day our enormous appreciation for those who have served in armed services, continue to serve, the sacrifices they've made, and what they have done to allow us to enjoy the freedoms and the opportunities that we have, and I know all of us take for granted probably too often in our community. So it's great to have this day when we can remember and honor those who have served us and who continue to serve us in our country. First Step House really is such a remarkable organization, and what they do in partnership with many of the folks who Sean talked about and throughout the community in so many ways to address homelessness in our community, and obviously particularly veterans homelessness, is truly remarkable. We have too many in our community who are homeless. We have too many veterans who are homeless. And no number of homeless veterans or folks in our community is acceptable. We are really fortunate, I think, and are known around the country increasingly now for the work we've done around homelessness, and particularly veterans homelessness. I think most of you know that last year Phoenix and Salt Lake City were recognized as the first cities in the country to end chronic veterans homelessness in the country. And Michelle Obama launched a campaign with the entire federal government to end veterans homelessness, and challenged all of us in our cities to compete against each other to see how quickly we could accomplish that. We've set a goal of 2015 to extend the homelessness elimination beyond the chronically homeless, so that every veteran has the opportunity and the ability really to experience First Step and others who can provide the assistance that we need to eliminate veterans homelessness. It really is an amazing effort. Since I came into office now 7 years ago, I meet regularly with those who provide services and facilities in our community. And I think unless you have that regular interaction, and we have many people here who are working in this arena, you have no idea how committed people are, how well they work together, and the incredible efforts that folks go to address this issue that in a society as wealthy as we are, in a community as fortunate as we are, that persists today. So to First Step, I thank you. This is going to be an incredible facility in a location that is easy for folks to get to. It will also add a beautiful addition, I think, to our community with the wonderful renderings I've seen of the facility. But most importantly, it is going to give a way forward for folks who have served our country and have faced times that are usually due to absolutely no fault of their own. They face struggles, and our job is to help them in the community, and what First Step House is committed to doing and has been for a long time and will do with this facility, I think will really allow us to accomplish the goals that we've all set as a community. So thank you, congratulations to First House, and thank you to everybody here I know who's been making and will continue to make a great contribution to end veterans homelessness and homelessness in Salt Lake City.
In November 1863, President Abraham Lincoln was asked to provide a few appropriate remarks at the time of the dedication of the National Cemetery at Gettysburg. While those remarks were only 10 sentences in length and took a little more than 2 minutes to deliver, President Lincoln gave one of the greatest speeches in American history. In his speech, he communicated the reasons for the sacrifices that were made for our nation by our veterans, while at the same time acknowledging the inadequacies of any words or actions to appropriately dedicate such a hallowed place. Fast forward almost 82 years. It was Memorial Day 1945. World War II had ended in Europe, but was still raging in the Pacific. The place was Anzio in Italy, and the circumstance was the dedication of a military cemetery there. For those who don't know, Anzio was an amphibious landing by Allied forces in Italy in early 1944 as part of the march towards Rome. The speaker for the dedication at Anzio was General Lucian Truscott, a tough, no-nonsense general with a voice so gravelly that his troops thought he gargled daily with acid. When General Truscott stepped to the podium, he was facing an audience including international dignitaries, and American politicians. Behind him was a hillside filled with crosses and military grave markers. After welcoming the guests, General Truscott turned around and faced the graves, turning his back on the audience, and spoke quietly with head bowed. No one in the audience heard a word that he said, but everyone understood the message. General Truscott communicated who was most important and to be honored, while reminding everyone of the cost and sacrifice that was made by our men and women in uniform. So here we are today. It's a different type of dedication than those done by President Lincoln and General Truscott, but in many respects, the message is the same. However, unlike General Truscott, I am fortunate that the audience I want to speak to is in front of me. Like President Lincoln, I'll do my best to keep it short. For those of you who don't know, First Step has been partnering with us for a long time. They have been successfully treating our veterans with both substance abuse issues and co-occurring mental health problems in a residential setting that allows for time to heal. First Step's reputation is as an organization that does whatever it takes to recover those who have served. First Step House is a critical element in VA's ability to provide wraparound services to those who have served us. This new facility will allow them and us to expand our offerings in order to meet a growing need among our veterans. There are two specific groups in the audience to whom I would like to speak today. The first is our veterans. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the opportunity to serve you. This new campus will be a place of recovery and healing. I hope that you will seek care with us as you need it. You have prepaid for your care by your service, and it is our honor to fulfill the covenant between the American people and each of you as you heal from the wounds of that service. All of us are called to care for those who have borne the battle, and we are proud to have First Step partner with us as they provide veterans with a new and valuable mental health treatment option. Mental health care is different in some respects than physical health care. Mental health care is more process-oriented. It is more relational. It is not that there aren't procedures, and effective ones at that, but rather there are also elements of care that are based on the individual relationship between the clinician and the veteran. The environment that will be created here by First Step House will be supportive of that type of care. It may just seem like offices and rooms to some of you, but the lives that are healed and recovered here make this location priceless. The second group I would like to thank is the First Step House staff that works with our veterans. I want to thank you for the excellent work you have done in recovering so many. For some of you, I know of your outstanding work and commitment personally. For others, I know what you have done through the comments of my staff who tell me the difference you have made. I also hear from the veterans themselves who tell me of the hard work and healing that has happened as a result of your interventions. This partnership between VA and First Step House serves as an outstanding example of how different organizations can come together as a community to serve a larger need and a greater good. In closing, I want to say that this is an auspicious day for an excellent organization. You will hear more about these programs from others and their impact. For now, I just want to leave you with a quote that hangs on my door. To me, this quote epitomizes the work that we all do and is the essence of any new endeavor. It is a quote from President Harry Truman, and it simply states, "It is amazing what can be accomplished when you don't care who gets the credit." God bless you all.
Councilmember Garrett, please.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Sean, and thanks for the dignified speakers who came before me. I'm Luke Garrett. I'm the councilman for this district, and I'm a proud neighbor of First Step House here. I live just down the street. And I'd like to reflect just briefly on the three pillars of First Step House's mission, which are behind me: recovery, meaning, and purpose. When I'm witness to projects like this, I'm reminded about the power of reconciliation that follow cooperative effort of community groups and government. Salt Lake City is special. We all know that. I think we're at our best when we see community as a process of integration, where we feel a sense of shared destiny, knowing that we rise and fall together. In this sense, First Step House is about reconciliation too, trying to reconcile members of our society who have been left behind, who don't feel part of community. Purpose comes, for all of us, I think, from being meaningful to other people. And it doesn't matter what level this comes on. From the beloved glory of a national liberator like a General Eisenhower or Bradley, to the solid trust between humble neighbors who help each other get through the week. It doesn't matter. The essence is the same. These people have meaning to others. Recovery, in one sense, is being able to have relationships again. It allows the essential bonds of the human heart, trust and love, to work their magic again. Opening this facility, with its critical component of housing, will help us all rise. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone, from the bottom of my heart, who have been involved and will be involved in this project moving forward.
Jake, could you come up and say a few words?
I'm honored to represent Zions Bank Senior Management and Scott Anderson. We're so happy to be a part of this. All the parties have been thanked for the most part, but again, I want to recognize Kier Construction for being awesome to work with in helping us get this construction loan approved. Austin Davis has been our point of contact with First Step House. He is stellar. He's top rate, and I'm thankful I was able to work with him. As a born and raised Utahn, I personally appreciate this and appreciate the investment to the community, and would like to thank the mayor and Salt Lake City for this investment. Zions Bank is thrilled to be a partner and a source of capital, and we know that it will be, if you haven't looked at these renderings, it's going to be an awesome facility, and it's going to serve this valley for years to come. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone who's come. Representative Romero, thank you for taking the time. I know everyone's busy. What we'd like to do now is the shovel ceremony. So Rodney's got the shovels. We're going to go right over here underneath the tree and shovel some dirt.